Guys, I want to cover a few things that that you guys are going to have to sort of take into consideration in the design of your building. As I walk around, I'm noticing that nothing that I'm really seeing pinned up is up to presentation standards by any long stretch of the imagination. There's no line weights, there's nothing. It's like, I think many of you are fortunate that I'm not grading this, because if I was, there wouldn't be a single C given, as far as I could tell. Hero might have a different opinion, but when we talk about something being to presentation standards, you guys by Design 4 should know what that is. You guys covered it extensively in level 1 and level 2. So I'm going to leave that alone right now. I just wanted to kind of start out with the fact that I didn't really get what I was asking for. We are going to have a hard deadline for this project in a few weeks. And if I get that when this project is due, I'm not sure I'm not sure you guys will be happy with the response. Right now, I want to focus on this idea of passive heating, okay? And just so that you guys understand, you guys are going to be asked between this class and next class to read the chapter on passive heating. And then over the weekend, you're going to be asked to read the chapter on passive cooling. And it's not really a chapter, it's a section of the book, okay? But in the simplest sense, what we're trying to do with passive heating is to allow the sun to come in and warm up part of the building. Okay? And so, you know, the typical sort of thing that you see, it looks something like this. Right? You see the sun in the wintertime kind of coming in to heat up the floor, and then in the summertime you see the sun being blocked out. Right? So those are the two scenarios that are most commonly kind of put out there in relation to this idea of passive design, passive solar heating, okay? What you guys are going to find as you go through the Green Studio Handbook is that there are a variety of different methods of passive heat gain, okay? So that's part of why I'm asking you guys to do the reading. One of the things that's fundamental, right, and part of the reason that we start out with solar geometry in Design 1 is in order to design a building that blocks out the sun when you don't want it and lets it in when you do want it, requires you to understand when those periods are. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do is going to be to go into a climate analysis condition and identify the coldest day of the year for climate zone. We're going to use climate zone 10 for the Claremont house. Okay? And then I want you to identify the hottest time period of the year. So you can do it by month if you want. Okay? And during those months, right, I'm going to ask you to just do a simple little diagram. And the diagram is going to be a little house. And it's going to have the desired inside temperature of 72 degrees. And then what is actually happening outside the house? What's the overnight low? So I'm going to say hypothetically that the overnight low is 40 degrees. Okay. Now I know that's baloney because I know that at my house in Claremont I've had things freeze. Okay? So I know I've had stuff freeze, and I know that the delta T, I know that you know what, I'm going to hypothetically say 32. Okay? 32 degrees, so that's the overnight low, and then I'm going to have the same thing in the daytime. And on that day, the desired inside temperature is still 72 degrees, but the outside air temperature, we'll call it 59. Okay, 59 degrees. So what I want listed for the coldest day of the year is going to be what is the delta T at night and what is the delta T in the daytime. Okay, and basically what I'm asking you to do is to give me an analysis. Is the house in heating mode? Okay, then you're going to do the same thing for the hottest time of the year. So hottest day of the year over here. So I'm going to say that the hottest day of the year is 100 degrees, right? And inside temperature still wants to be 72. And then I'm going to say that the overnight low, sorry about that. Let me say that the overnight low, I'm going to say is 68 degrees. Okay? And I want to know what the delta T is for that. What's the delta T? Right? And the same thing for the daytime high. I know that living in Claremont and you guys living somewhere in this area, I've seen 100 degrees, right? So 100 degrees, still want to keep it at 72. Right? What's the delta T?
Is that 60 or 58?
This is 68. You guys are actually going to use the data that you find in probably Climate Consultant. It would be the most accurate one, but maybe not. Okay? So this one, right, the heat is moving from inside to outside, right, at a given rate. So if we assume that a ½ inch long line, 1/2 of an inch long line, right, represents 10 degrees. So how long would this line be? ½ inch is 10 degrees.
2 inches long.
So this line's going to be 2 inches long. Right? Now how about here? So 60 to 72 is 12. So this line's going to be very short. It's going to be a half. But it's still going that direction. Right? So next we come over here, we take a look at this one. So this one's going in this direction and it's not going to be very long. It's going to be, you know, almost minuscule at night. But in the daytime, right? So it's going to be very short going in that direction, maybe 1/4 of an inch long or something like that. Going on this one, the temperature is going this direction, and now it's going to be ½ inch times 30 degrees. Okay? So 10, 10, 10, 10, it's going to be 3 inches long. So what I'm trying to get you guys to do is to understand the magnitude of the heat gain or heat loss. Okay? So that's going to be kind of one of your assignments. And I'll also give you a handout. I think I have a copy of the handout that's going to have you do that for every month of the year. All right? All right. So go ahead and stop that video.